on an art exhibit and a symphony orchestra concert from the Philip C. Curtis art exhibition, Jackson's own attorney Phil Curtis, and the music director of the Jackson Symphony Orchestra, Matt Aubin. Guys, welcome to the show.
Hey, Bart.
Thank you.
Nice to see you. Well, you guys have teamed up to enhance the experience of art patrons and music lovers coming up next month, but it's happening right now, Phil.
Right. It was pretty interesting last winter, probably about this time. I think Bart was over at my house and...
I wasn't at your house. Matt was at your house.
Excuse me, Matt, yeah. And we were having a little dinner and we were enjoying my uncle's art that I have in my house, and Matt was quite intrigued about it and came up with the idea of incorporating his artwork into a concert. And kind of a long story short, he retained the services of a composer friend who created a symphony piece that's going to be played at the March 25th concert. And
most importantly, he's a composer that went to the University of Michigan. So Phil stamped his approval right away.
Well, Phil hasn't invited me to his house for dinner, but he has invited me to his suite at the big house. So I actually would prefer that.
Yeah.
So the concert, was this already in your plans to have a concert called Pictures at an Exhibition?
Well, Pictures at an Exhibition is a work by the Russian composer Mussorgsky, and was originally for piano. And the French composer Maurice Ravel did what's called an orchestration of it. So he basically took the piano music and made it come alive with all the colors of the orchestra. And it's one of, I would say, like the top 20 classical music pieces that people know. And excerpts of it have been used in television commercials. It's one of those pieces, again, where you may know it, but you may not know that you know it. Just that it's entered the culture. And it was inspired by a walk through a gallery. So the piece is structured by having these promenades where you're walking through and then you come to a picture. And each picture is basically just totally different type of music. One of my favorites is there's a ballet of unhatched chicks. And so it's just a very cute, whimsical piece that's very, very fast. So the idea behind, okay, well, let's do this real masterpiece of classical music, and how can we craft a program about other pieces of music that are inspired by art? Well, we actually have another composer from the University of Michigan, a composition professor named Michael Doherty, who wrote a violin concerto named Fire and Blood, and it's inspired by Diego Rivera and Frida Kahlo's murals in Detroit. And so we'll be featuring his music in this piece. And then, having this dinner at Phil's and seeing this incredible art, this isn't somebody's hobby, like their uncle that was a hobby artist. Mm-hmm. This was a real important figure in American art. And his artwork is surreal. I love the use of color. I think you can look at a piece for a long time. And what Phil has told me is that his uncle didn't really like to tell you what the art meant. He liked you to come up with your own story. And so as we started to discuss it, I said, wouldn't it be great if, as part of this concert, we could feature his artwork and maybe commission a piece? And so that's where Jeremy Krosmer came in. And then we had a second follow-up dinner where Jeremy came over to Phil's house and looked all around and settled on a piece called Solo, which is actually in Albion's art collection, in Albion College, where Philip Campbell Curtis went. And so the work Solo has a horn on the cover. And so this particular piece for orchestra, I just got the score a couple of days ago, and a MIDI, which is a computer realization of what it will sound like. And it starts with a big French horn solo and progresses through. It's about a 10-minute piece. It's a lovely piece. I think Phil's going to really like it. And yeah, so I think it's a great way to bring awareness to another cultural icon from our community.
Philip J. Curtis, tell us about Philip C. Curtis, your artist uncle.
Well, he was a very interesting man. I happened to go to the University of Arizona for the first 2 years of college, and since he lived in Arizona and I lived in Jackson, I really never had a chance to spend a lot of time with him. But when I was there for college for 2 years, I would spend a lot of time with him. And then subsequently, in later years, I would travel a lot to Arizona and helped him out with legal matters, and we became very close friends and like a second father to me. And he was kind of a typical artist that he struggled for a long time throughout his career. He was fortunate enough to have some friends in Phoenix in the 60s that, because he'd create a painting and then he'd have to sell it to survive until he could make the next painting and move on. And so he had difficulty creating enough paintings for a good exhibition. So some friends of his said, "We'll lend you some money to live for a year and just paint." And he did that and developed enough paintings for an exhibition, and they had several exhibitions around the country. And
Yeah, including, we had one not too long ago again in our gallery.
right.
Yeah.
But at that point, he was able to sell a lot of his paintings and pay back these patrons who supported him, which was pretty cool.
Nice. So the gallery is now open. It's the Myers Family Gallery on the second floor of Potter Center, just outside the music hall. And you can go there anytime. It's open. It's college hours 8 to 5, plus for events. So make sure you check it out. And really, my impression of his work is that it's so varied. I don't think, you could look at a piece next to another piece that are completely different. There's not, I don't think there's like a signature to his work, is there?
Well, I think a lot of it's interesting in this exhibition because we have a lot of pieces from different phases of his career, from when he was in his early years in New York City. He did some impressionist stuff, and then he moved on and got into more of the surrealistic art in his main career. But we do have a lot of things from various phases, which I think is interesting.
Yeah, you can tell where he was located when he was painting, because there is southwest, there is quite a bit
Right.
of southwest in his work.
Yeah.
So in addition to the gallery and his paintings, we've got the orchestra and the commission piece. What else?
Yeah, violin soloist. Every work will have some type of image with it. We have Evan Struck, who's a local speed painter, and he will start the concert off by speed painting something special. We'll kind of keep that a surprise, but then our hope is to then just auction it off on the spot to at halftime, so to speak, to someone, and as a benefit for the symphony. We also are planning a video that was crafted about 10 years ago, the New World Symphony, which is located in Miami and is a pretty cutting edge organization. They commissioned this video project to go with pictures at an exhibition, where each movement has a different video behind it. And the technology behind the film is such that instead of the orchestra following the film, which is normal practice, the film follows the orchestra. There's a person back there kind of clicking with me as I conduct. So it doesn't matter if I do it differently from one time to the next, the film will stay with the orchestra.
Wow.
And I think this is a great first concert for someone to go to, but I think it's a really special thing that we get art like this, both musical art and visual art, at this high level right in our little town of Jackson.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
And I think we're so fortunate to have Matt here. He's done a wonderful job with the symphony. He's so creative. He's out in the community doing great things. We're so fortunate because he's a top-notch conductor, and we're lucky to have him here.
We lucked out.
We sure did.
That's right. So it's yeah, and I feel fortunate to have the support of great patrons like Phil, and who he hasn't mentioned is through his various businesses and trusts, and personally supporting this concert, which is amazing. And I also should say we're collaborating with a lot of folks. You have mentioned the composers, the performers. Even the Jackson School of the Arts will have a little bit of student artwork
Nice.
featured at certain points of this. So yeah, it'll be a real nice night.
Yeah, that's a great point, Matt. Phil, his family and his firm and his companies have been big arts patrons, supporting really so many, the JSO, the Jackson School of the Arts, Purple Rose, the list goes on and on.
Right.
So thanks to you for all of that. So there's going to be a little something before and a little something after the concert too, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, we always do a little after party, and so in addition to coming to the pre-concert talk at 6:30 and then seeing the performance at 7:30, there'll be a reception and after party at the country club. And even if you don't have tickets, you can buy a ticket as an add-on. We have all of that available at jacksonsymphony.org. And come and meet the artists and celebrate with us after our performance.
I'm looking forward to it. March
too.
25th. Great to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pictures at an exhibition, March 25th. The gallery is open though right now on the second floor of Potter Center. So check it out, get your tickets, and they range as low as $5 for students on up to the very best seats at $35. JacksonSymphony.org. Thanks to Phil Curtis and Matt Aubin. Stay with us next.